Listen, you're more than just bone and skin. Listen to the song of the wind, the graciousness, the spaciousness coming from within. A concrete brick, a stone, the song they sing is heaven is my home. Heaven is my home. Heaven is my home. Heaven is my home.
I just wanted to say before that it's so clear that that nothing in this manifest world or any physical or any kind of pleasure or whatever cannot compare with when there is only emptiness and joy inside.
Yeah.
That none of this can touch it.
It
in
doesn't
a way.
stick. Nothing sticks,
But
deeply.
it's so small, and so many people are looking for physical pleasures or for mental pleasures or for whatever objects in the world. But compared to when one is empty inside and just silence is there, none of this can.
Yeah. Unconsciously they're looking for this.
Yes.
But not consciously yet. Unconsciously they're looking for this. But they don't know that this they're looking for, you see? You see? They think it is the objects, that the objects is this. You see, but gradually, even by going through these things, getting these things and losing them, they gradually come to see that it's not the physicality of things, because they cannot hold it. You see, they're looking for the non-physical thing. But the mind is only functioning in the physical way. And that's the only way they know for the moment how to appreciate something, you see. Because they think themselves to be physical. And the physical need the physical to live. You see? It's like Jesus when he spoke, when he said that the devil was tempting him, because he said, "You're hungry," no? The devil said to him, "You're hungry in the wilderness. Why don't you tell these stones to become bread? Why don't you turn these stones into bread and eat them?" And Jesus didn't fall for that, because if he had fallen for that and say, "Okay, I'll show you I can do that," then he would have succumbed to the devil's temptation, He would have sort of like picked a fight and started, which he must not do. In fact, what he did was he answered him with the scriptures. He said, "Man shall not live, it is written, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." And the devil was, every time he could not get in, he was wanting to get in, to get into the mind of Jesus, to kind of like, to get him a bit dirty. But even though he was weak, because Jesus actually was drawn into the wilderness to experience physical weakness, because when you're physically weak, you feel more vulnerable to the suggestions of the mind. Say, look how hungry you are. Why don't you just turn the stone into bread? Because you're the Son of God. Why don't you do this thing? It is written, the man shall not live only by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Because most people think that they're physical, and to live they need physical food. But Jesus don't see the man as just physical. He says, "Man shall not live by bread alone," which means that his physical being maybe need bread, but inside is more than that. He's going to live on the words that come from God, the truth. That's where his real life is. That was okay. I can't try another thing. You see like that. And so, for a while, we were looking for fulfillment only in the physical plane, because that's what we're used to. What is a car? You want a car? That's a physical thing. You want a house? A physical thing. You want a girlfriend? It's a physical thing. In a way, it is not a physical thing. But because you only limit your consciousness to physical functioning, that's all you perceive. Because a car is also God. In a way, you can say like this. Money is God. Money is not evil, but the love for money, the belief in money is evil. But the use of money is not. Money is a tremendous thing, because money allows you to from freedom, and that you can. Money allows you to be impersonal. You see, so you don't have to go to people always asking a favor. You can say no. You pay for things, and so it's impersonal. You know, it's not like, please do me, please give me this. No, so it's also an expression of the God. But to move on from our physical, sort of the physical realm of perception, to more subtler realms, the intuitive realm, you see, this is where the life really begins, really, in the most beautiful way, because it's freed up from the limitations of the body. Why is it that the body, you see, the more out you go, the more physical you become, the more limited you become. So the man usually is starting off with his physical being. He's such a physical being, but that's the most vulnerable aspect of himself, because it's bound by time, but it's a physical thing. It will one day go. So if he knows himself only as the body, he's going to have the trauma of knowing that he's going to go. One body's going to go. If he knows himself as the mind or the spirit, no, it's different. It's not the same as the body. You cannot kill the spirit. You see, so the more he knows about himself, the more he's transcending the lesser aspects of himself. So he has to go beyond time and beyond shape, and find that when he goes beyond time and shape, he was afraid that if he goes out of time, out of body and so on, then he will disappear, because he put reality in those things. But as he's come to see that the physicality of the universe and of his own form can be perceived, and you ask, what is the perceiver? Where's the perceiver? Is it physical? Then he has to confess, but it cannot be. It observes the physical, but it's not physical. Then he must hear himself say that. He must hear his heart saying that. His mind must hear his heart saying that. When he says this, then he can say, oh my God, he has to admit, but I'm not just this. When he knows I'm not just this, already his wings start to grow. He start to fly. See. So in the beginning we think that these are the things that you're here on the earth for just physical things, physical success, physical notions about life. The spirituality means that you're going beyond perishable things to the imperishable zone, the kingdom of the heart, of the self. You see. And here is a different, here is not the same. The physical notion of life, about personality and biological functionings and so on, and the life as a physical phenomenon. This is the most shallow part of our experience. And yet so much of our focus is there, in that. Satsang introduces us now to our cosmic unity, our identity with the God Self. Then the fear is going easy. Because the fear comes for the person and not for the self. When you realize you're the self, the fears that come with the bodily limitations, they are going. You're leaving that zone. I mean, the physicality is still there, but it is not a problem. It is the philosophy around the physicality. It is the interpretation and the personalization of the physical that becomes limited.